Well, hi, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal, and we are live on Friday evening, which means it's time for us to talk about coping with life. And as usual on a Friday evening, I try and do some meal prepping using leftovers just to give you different ideas of what is possible. Hi there to Isabel. Good to see you. And when I first looked at your note there, Isabel, I thought it said XXL, and I'm going, yeah. Hi, Sandy. Good to see you as well. All right, so we're going to be making a number of things tonight, if everything works. Hi there, Jody. For those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin, and what we're going to be doing is I'm going to show you how I make cream and butter, whipped cream and butter every week, because I've been talking about that, and I thought, it really is time that I showed you how I do it. And we're also going to be making savory crepes with some leftovers. And I've got all those bits ready over there. But we're going to start just by showing you how simple the cream is. No, you know something? Yeah, let's do it that way. All right, so this is the butter that I made this week. Hi, Autumn, as you can see. And this is the whipped cream that I made this week. I can do this because I live on my own, but awesome. Hasn't got any additives in it. It just is what it is. So I thought I'd show you how simple that really can be. Are you ready? So every week I buy myself about a liter. Okay, that would be what? Quart? I have to talk in two languages. Of full cream, whipping cream. Okay. And I do recommend starting with that. It saves a lot of time. And then as it gets to the end of the week, when the new one arrived, which it did, I need to use up the old one. Okay, so here's the whipping cream that was left. And all I do is take the cream, and the first thing I do, no, so it's not a good idea. Yeah. This is going to be noisy, but I just want to demonstrate how easy it is. I'm going to pulse this for about 10 seconds 3 times. That should turn it into cream, somewhere around there. So it's going to be noisy, okay? So here we go. This is just regular whipping cream. Now, the reason I do it in sets of 3 is I don't want to burn up the motor, so... if you listen carefully, you're going to hear that change tone. Going to need another one or two. Did you hear it? And that means I have got whipped cream. All right? So that's the first stage. So what I'm going to do I'm going to take, because that's quite a bit of whipped cream, and I don't need that much butter, so we're going to put that away. Some of it. So what did it take? 40 seconds just to get to, that's just with a magic bullet, nothing fancy. Okay, so there is my, isn't that wonderful? There's my whipped cream. Now my choice is I can leave it to just go bad and throw it away. But why would I do that? How many of you can think of lots of ways that I can use whipped cream? You want to give us some input here, people? What can we use whipped cream for? Okay. Now I've got about this much left. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some regular milk to it, just to give it some liquid. There's a reason for that. So I'm just going to use some 2%, and I'm going to put that in with the cream. And I'm also going to put a little bit of salt in. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Himalayan salt. Give it a bit of taste. As you know, this is the day I'm allowed to have salt. So. And then what I'm going to do is put this back on. And now I'm going to whip it again. Did you hear it change tone? Let's see how it looks. It might need a bit more. Yeah. Needs a bit more. But it's getting there. What we're doing is we're going to get the fats to come away from the butter. Sorry, the buttermilk. Has it separated? I think it might have done. Let me see how it goes. So what I'm going to do I'm not sure how much it's separated, but I just really want to give you the idea of how simple it is. And it's still pretty loose. Okay, I'm going to put a bit more milk with it then. Maybe. Tastes good. And then all I do is this. I turn it into it still looks a bit loose, but I just want to give you the idea of it. This is called a nut bag. And what we want to do is we want to wash out the milk fat. Make sense? So what I'm going to do is this saves me having to put gloves on. Just going to slosh it around. Try not to slosh it over your phone, so. So all I'm doing is really rinsing the milk fat out of it. And what I'm going to do is just change that water. Oops, I'm making a big mess here, people. That's how you know that it's live, right? I might not have done it quite enough, but I think the main thing is that you can see what happens. So the salt helps get rid of the milk fat. The milk fat. Now, I normally don't throw the milk fat, buttermilk away. I keep it and put it in my smoothies. And I'm just going to let that drain for a second. My question is, how simple was that? Okay, so Sandy's saying she bought a NutriBullet. It's stronger than the Magic Bullet. I think I have both. Yes, as you know, I have Nigel the Ninja. Which is part of a whole ninja thing. It's, I have 2 mugs and the very serious mixer here. I actually could do it in there, and it'd be interesting to see what it does to it. But then I also have, the blender and everything else that goes with it. So I just like to do it with my Magic Bullet, funny enough, because normally it works beautifully. So there we go. We're just going to let that drain. And once it's drained, I will just put it into one of these containers and put a lid on it and put it in the freezer. So seriously, how simple was that? In a heartbeat, I made whipped cream that can stay in the fridge for 3 or 4 days and butter that I don't actually need, but I wanted to show you how I did it. So pretty awesome, very simple. And quite honestly, I doubt I will ever buy butter again. I do have some in the freezer, but now that I've learned how to do this, and as you know, I'm not specially buying cream. I'm using up cream that if I don't use it up, it's going to go bad. Hello? Nope. Did I add any sweetener to the whipped cream? Nope, nothing. You saw me. I didn't put anything in there. It was just straight cream. The only thing I did was add a little salt to it when I'm turning it into butter because I want it to release the buttermilk. And this buttermilk I will keep for my smoothie for tomorrow. So just want to give you the idea. It's still draining, so we'll leave that while we talk. And then by the end of the... I've made such a big mess, people. Any questions before I move on to the next thing? So if you don't have a Magic Bullet, anything that you use as a blender will do. Okay? And so here's extra whipped cream. I'm going to put that away. More self-sufficiency. And that is important. As we were saying at lunchtime, be ready for the price of milk and cream and dairy, everything like that, to go way up. And therefore, what I'm looking at is, yeah, Sandy's saying it's handy for small mixed projects. Yes, I don't think, quite honestly, I don't think I'll ever buy butter in the store again. Because I'm going to obviously be collecting these little tubs. So come Christmas, I'm going to have plenty of butter. Or if I need butter, I've got it. And I'm just putting them in these small containers. And the cream, Jody will tell you that pure cream, you know, I haven't got any sugar in there or anything else, just pure cream like that isn't bad for you, right? It's, Jody, am I correct? That's healthy oil? Not bad. It's healthy fat, not bad fat. So if you want to put it in your coffee, or I like to have my evening dessert, you know, after dinner, I have some fruit and some cream. So there we go. I'm going to put it in the fridge. Now, how many of you were surprised that it was that easy? And it won't cause a sugar spike. Thank you, Jody. Very important. Yeah, for those of you who weren't here at lunchtime, I did my A1C and I was terrified. For those of you who don't know what an A1C is, that's how you measure the blood glucose in your system. And I thought for some reason that mine was way higher than it should be. And I was a little bit scared, to put it mildly, about having the test done. But I'm very pleased to tell you that I came in at 5.8, which is just fine. It's where I normally am. And so it confirms, and I've lost, remember, I have lost 10.5 pounds. Well, probably 10 now because I put a little bit on this week. But, you know, I've lost 10 pounds this year, and it's not through exercise. It is through changing what I do in the kitchen. And these sort of things, I still have dessert every night with cream. I still have, I nearly did mac and cheese tonight. All right. Just to show you that I eat really well. I just eat less of it than I did. All right, so that's doing really well. I'm going to put that in the tub. Yeah. Might need a second one. No, if I squish it down, it'll be fine. So, not quite fine, but nearly fine. Pretty, how about that for being pretty spot on in terms of how much I needed? I have a little bit too much, which is not a problem. I'm just going to, that's cream. I'm just going to put that into the other one I just put away. No, that's full too. Because if it's going to go in the freezer, it's going to expand a bit, so we don't want it right the way up to the top. Okay. And I'll just put that in the freezer and it will solidify, and there we have it. Right? Very simple. Ask Lionel. Jody's saying that Lyle goes, way to go. Ask Lionel if he thinks he can do that. Oh, does he mean about the A1C or the butter? That's the question. One. Okay, so these will go into my freezer, but really, how simple was that? Now, the other thing is, how many of you know that I'm going to start giving butter to some of my neighbors now? All right, rather than waste it, because I don't want to waste it, let me share it with my neighbors, all right? All right. Other than smoothies, what else can you use buttermilk for? Now, you understand from cream that was about to turn, if you like, I now have got butter, whipped cream for dessert tonight, and buttermilk. You can use it for pancakes. Well done, Jody. And we're going to be making crepes today, so I'm going to use that. What else can we use buttermilk for? Any baking, right? If you're making a cake, or if you're making what, Jody, muffins, things like that, anything like that, you can use buttermilk for. Again, reuse biscuits, yep, anything like that. Now then, what I'm using up this week sorry, it's so much easier if I just rinse it slightly. It won't be trouble to clean later. Oh, and it's to go in the fridge. Look how much cream we got. It's amazing. That lasts me all weekend. So I'm using up some deli chicken made with natural ingredients. So it's whole chicken, oven roasted chicken breast. I want to use that up. It's getting to the time to use it. I've got quite a few. By the way, I found when I started to buy cheese in slices like this, I use far less than I do when I have shredded cheese. Have any of you found that? So I now buy my cheese. I do have some shredded cheese in case I'm doing something for guests or something. But just for me, I find just one slice of this is what I need. And it's really thin. So that's good. All right, so I've got this turned on. Give it a quick wipe to make sure it's clean. And first thing we're going to do is to make some crepes. So I make crepes with a mix of real flour and almond flour. That's how I cut down on my flour, but I can still have everything that I used to have. That's not good for me, and it doesn't spike my blood glucose. So what I do is I will put in two measures of regular flour. This is just all-purpose flour. And then two measures of almond flour. So right there, I've cut my flour down by half. Next thing I'm going to do is to add eggs. So I'm going to put a couple of eggs in. Yeah, that's good. And the eggs I have left over from this week, I will boil along with some of the new ones. And those are my boiled eggs for the week. Good protein, and I try and have at least 4 or 5 a week. Quick protein bite. Now, we got a number of ways of doing this. And I'm going to divide this into two so I can show you the two ways of doing it. Okay. I definitely need more liquid in both of them. So I'm going to put some almond milk in there. I think that should do it. Let me just see the consistency. As you know, I don't measure things. I go by consistency. It's really important for me. And what I'm looking for, I'm looking for the consistency of sort of, it just runs off the fork. All right, not too thick, not too thin, just about perfect as it is. All right, and let's put this in here as well. There needs more liquid, I think. Let's see. No, maybe not. That's good. If anything, it's a little loose, so. All right, so you agree that although I've got some flour in there, there isn't a lot. I got eggs in there, which is good for me. I've got some almond milk in there, that's good. Okay, all good stuff. So now then. You can all see my gizmo, right? Let me bring it forward a bit there. So the first thing I'm going to do is to just do some plain ones, okay? And we'll start with some butter, which we know we've got plenty. And I also need, I'm thinking, it's very difficult. I need butter, I know what I need. I just keep this to put the spreader in between making the crepes, all right? So you got the idea. I'm going to show you that this is pretty, butter, huh? And we know it's brand new, so we'll just spread that on there. I've always wanted to be able to do that. We don't need magic powder. I don't use it. Seriously, I'm trying to not add too many things to it. This is just for a regular crepe. So if you want to, you can, but I don't for mine. One of the things I recommend if you're making crepes is, that's just where I went to get. Sandy's saying, do I have a crepe turner ready? These are my crepe turners. I actually only need this one. But what I like to do is just put some butter on there. Just makes it so much easier. if I want the crepes to cook in a different way, I could just put my lid on top. And now it is cooking it at the bottom and steaming it from the top, all right? So that's a way to get it to hurry up a bit. I don't need these anymore. And I love this lid because you can see how things are cooking. Now, I wanted to show you, I'm going to start putting stuff together in a little while, but I wanted to show you, I got this chicken stock and I didn't buy it. I buy my ramen noodles in bulk and I don't use their seasoning, right? Because it's too much sodium. So what I do is I just put it into a bag, and then when I'm cooking something else, I use up the seasoning. How many of you are going reuse, recycle, use less, right? Uh-oh. Here we go, nicely done. So there we go. That is a perfect looking crepe. What I'm going to do is actually, you know, these molds I have for meal prepping. These are 1 cup sizes. I'm actually going to put the crepe in here and then load it up and then fold it all over. Yeah, right. Never done it before like this, so bear with me. So just check the bottom, see how it's doing. Needs some more. I've got it on a medium heat, about a third. Not a whole lot, just a little. Yeah, I'm taking it. I think I'm going to do it right there. Nearly ready. Now, quite honestly, if I had measured, I could not have got the consistency to look like what I have right now. You know, this is about enjoy this while you can, people. Because it's wafer thin. Okay. Just a bit more. Very impressed with myself. And while that's just finishing, I want to open up the can. Where's the can? Yeah. Because I've got some chicken and I'm going to add to it some mushroom soup and some vegetables that are left over. You know, that's what we're doing, is using leftovers. I've got the leftover chicken breast slices, and then I'm going to add some mushroom soup to it. I buy my mushroom soup in bulk. Ah, you've never seen a crepe made before. Really difficult, as you can see, Autumn. I really struggled, Rick. There we go. Done. Just going to let that cool slightly. butter. I had to get myself one of these after I watched some of those Korean street food things. I went, I got to have me one of those. And I can use it now. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to put it in here. Oops, I already put a hole in it. That wasn't a good idea. But these things happen. All right, so I'm going to go to plan B. Can I do plan B? I need it not to be as crispy. Okay, so we definitely need to do it that way. All right. So in here, I'm going to put some mushroom soup. How many spices have I got? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to take my scissors. Really difficult, people. Okay, we've got that. We're going to put some cheese in. Pepper. I was thinking about the adding baking powder. All-purpose flour, I think, has some in it already. I could be wrong. Gertie would probably know more than I do. All right, so we've got that in that. Now then, I've got some all sorts of goodies. Here are your choices. We've got some leeks, some carrots, some tomato, some peppers, some celery, some bacon, some mushrooms, and spring onions. The leeks and the spring onions are from my garden already. So definitely bacon, right? How many of you are going, we need bacon? Because I need to use up some bacon. I think that might have got Lionel's attention. Okay, so I'm going to heap in some bacon on this one. There we go. And I need some spring onion. About a little bit of mushroom. Oh, look at that. By the way, I dehydrated the mushrooms because I don't use very much. And now I'm just going to hold it. And this one broke apart. So I need the batter to be slightly thicker. All right. But what I will do is I will wrap the second one around it as well. No loss there. Oh, that looks good. Yep, you can have a piece of bacon as a reward. So well done. Now, part of the joy of this is there are no limits to what you can put in. Oh, all-purpose flour doesn't have baking soda powder in it. Thank you. Okay. I've never found that I needed it for what I'm making. I want to have a little bit more flour when I do the next two. Now, I do want to tell you, it's a self-raising one that does. Thank you. I do want to tell you that making raspberry and cream crepes on this thing makes it well worthwhile the very small investment I made. And you know how much I use it, right? Such fun. But you get the idea how simple that was. Um, so when you make the batter more like whipping cream, all right? Just that much thicker than I had it. I forgot that I put in the almond milk and I put in the almond flour, which changed the consistency of it. But never mind. It's how we learn. And there we go. So that's done. What I'm going to do, perhaps if I did it on a flat plate, it would have more of a chance. What do you think? How about that? Yeah. Oh, Sandy's saying that she also has one. She uses it. My husband loves to make grilled cheese sandwiches on it. Yep. So how many of you are saying that's going to be tasty? I know I am. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one aside because this is the one I'm going to have tonight. Okay. And what I will do is just before we finish the broadcast, I will start warming it up so that the cheese melts and actually, yeah, it is delicious. Okay. All right, what I've done is I've put it in at 100 degrees, just keep warm, melt the cheese, cook a little bit. All right, now then, this is going nicely. I want to add a little bit more flour here to make this next one a little thicker. Don't want it too thick, but we definitely need it thicker than it was. All right, now what I wanted to show you was you can actually put a lot of the seasoning and stuff into the batter itself, and that's what I'm going to do for the next two. Oh yes, a whole lot more. A little less than that, huh? All right, so what I'm going to do is in this one, just so you can get the idea, I'm going to throw in a couple of tomatoes. Remember, eat the rainbow. I'm going to throw in some spring onion. I'm going to throw in some celery. Apparently throwing it on the floor helps. I got celery, and I'm going to put in a couple of celery leaves. Oh no, we want that for garnish later. I'm going to put in some. Oh, how about some rosemary in here? Also from my garden, dried. How many of you saw the tomatoes that I decided I would? What did I do with them? I dehydrated them in my window, right there, over the week, and I thought I'd show you. There they are. I don't need them because I'm using up tomatoes, but that was a good thing. What about, you remember that parsley we bought, a big lot of parsley, and then I dehydrated it, so we'll put some of that in. And what else shall we have, people? So how about some paprika? Oh, not that much. Okay, so we've got an onion paste, we've got, oh, some carrot. There we go. And then we'll just mix it all up again. Put the wrong blade in here, so let's hope it works. If it doesn't, I'll switch blades. Looks like it worked. How do you dehydrate? Very easily. I will talk about that in a second. This window that I have here, Autumn, it gets a lot of sun. All right, and now at this time of the year, I can start using it as a dehydrator. In fact, it gets too hot. So I'll probably only do this for the next couple of weeks, and then I will start doing it in a more shaded place. But literally, I just put them like this and leave them. All right, and I've got peppers in here and tomatoes. And this is a reused raspberry doodad thing. All right, so pepper we didn't put in. We can put pepper in a minute. All right, so we've got, this is good. Get some butter on there. Oh, yeah, quite a bit thicker. Not be too thick this time. Maybe not. Now, I could put the chicken and everything else on while it's cooking. Do you want to try that? So let's think about, I actually prefer to do it later. But I do want to put some black pepper on there. Steam it a bit. And remember, all I'm doing is using leftovers and eating the rainbow. Not rocket science. I want to talk for a second. How did I dehydrate the parsley? I just put it flat onto paper towel and rolled. Try not to overlap it. Keep it separate. And then I rolled it up. This is celery, so this is a small amount, but I just roll it up in a paper towel during the winter. This is how I dehydrate in the winter. Just roll it up in a paper towel like this, and then it's dehydrated. I just leave it in my spice drawer. It's like we used to, no, you probably didn't, but in my time, we used to press flowers that way. All right. We used to put it between the pages of a phone book. Can you imagine how dirty that was? Yeah. Such fun. The question is, would it take a couple of hours to do a whole stack of them? Yeah, I think it would. All right. And I'm not really concentrating on cooking them. I'm having fun with it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put the lid on here. And then this is now, I have got, anytime I want to have a savory crepe during the week, it's all ready to go. Just to let you know, when it stands in the fridge, it will separate. So when you get it out again, give it a good mix before you use it. Are any of you finding this one fun? I hope. So I was really happy. I was saying at lunchtime, I'm really happy to report that even though I had an extremely stressful week, I didn't go to food. I got about this far away from cigarettes at one point. But I'm really proud of myself because I still am 10 pounds down, as far as I know. And I am really happy about that. The reason I wanted to show you that you can put a lot of the stuff in it and just mix it all up with the batter is if you've got children, they never know what's in there. All right. And so it's a good way of getting vegetables into their diet that they don't know about, especially if it's got bacon and cheese, you know they're going to eat it. So that's a really important fact in my view. Now, you might say, but Sal, you don't have children. I'm one. My inner child needs to be fed. It likes its little treats. And to be able to find a way of eating that I can have these treats and still make my A1C and lose weight, you know I'm doing something right. It hasn't been meteoric dip, but boy, has it been a dip, right? So that's 17 pounds down now. And I am well on my way to getting from obese to overweight. I never thought I'd get to overweight again, but I can see it on the horizon. It's a bit like summer, right? If I get up on my tippy toes, I can see it coming over the horizon. Yeah, I think your kids would definitely eat that autumn. And look at all the vegetables I've got in it. All right. And once it's got the cheese and everything, another thing, do we have to use leftover chicken breast? No. We know we can put bacon in it. We know we can put finely sliced anything in it. All right. So if you've got some leftover beef or some leftover ground beef, you could put it in. The options are limitless. Now, one of the things I thought about was, you know how I put it in that pan? One of the things I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you that in a second, I thought I'm going to cover it with some more of that mushroom soup and then add a bit more stuff on it and then sort of almost grill it up like that. That will be the end of the broadcast when I've done that. Okay, that looks done. You know, it really makes me laugh that we do these things together because I have never considered myself anything of a cook. And yet every week you get me doing these things. And I enjoy doing them as well. All right, so let's go again. Let's put on some cheese while it's hot. That's good. We'll put in some chicken. By the way, could we just roll this up and then cut it and have it cold? Presuming that I had pre-cooked the vegetables. All right, that would be another option. We definitely want some bacon. We know that the mushroom soup is already cooked, so that's good. I've already cooked the bacon. And we know we got the vegetables finely ground up in the batter, and that's already cooked. So this looks like it might work. I do it right. Now, what I think I'm going to do with this one is actually put it into this mold. Okay, and I'm going to freeze it here because it's a 1 cup helping. See how the portion control is perfect. And I'm just going to freeze it like that and then bring it out next week. One day. Still got some of that left. All right, now let's get the other one. We'll just let that cool. You need to turn the heat up a bit. Yeah. All right, so now then, I'm going to add a bit more of the mushroom soup to it, just as it is. Yum. I'm not meant to do that. All right, so we got some mushroom soup on there. We put some more onions on. How about some tomato? Black pepper. Thank you, whoever said that. And it's Friday, so what about we just add some more cheese? And I'm just going to put that in my air fryer at about 350, maybe 325. All right, I did it at 350 for 15 minutes. So I've still got more chicken breast to use up tomorrow. I will have that on my salad, and then it'll be finished. I still have lots of vegetables cut up, and I will also be using those during the week. It won't be wasted. Now, my cheese like this, I buy it in bulk, and then what I do is I halve it like that, and then put it into bags. That normally lasts me probably a week. All right, so what I do is I put that in a bag like that. I put the next layer on, fold the bag over. And then there we go. Put the next layer on, put the bag over like this, and then put the whole lot into another bag. No plastic wrap wasted. These are just freezer quality plastic baggies, medium size. I can wash them and reuse them. All right. And they will just go into the freezer like that, and I will pull out one sort of wad as I need it. And there we go. What do you think? Easy enough to do? Which did you like watching this evening? Did you like seeing the butter made? And should I do more of that sort of stuff in future broadcasts? How many of you like watching the things I do with leftovers? And the reason that I keep talking about it is I do believe that with the Ukraine war still going on, I was saying at lunchtime, please be aware, Ukraine not only produces a lot of the wheat in the world between Russia and Ukraine, but also they produce most of the sunflower for sunflower oil. So if you use sunflower oil, it is really important that you stock up in a hurry if you've got room to keep it. I would think, Jody, unopened, could you check how long can you keep sunflower oil unopened? I don't think it needs any special anything. Isabel loved the butter. Yeah, wasn't that interesting? And by the way, you didn't ask me what does it taste like? It tastes like I will never buy shop bought butter again. It is so creamy, because it is. And it just really, it is awesome. I love it. Again, this is enough cheese to last me for a couple of months. All right. And I save a lot by buying, sort of a pound at a time. All right. And then just, as I said, I divide it up and then freeze it. And so I save a lot of money doing it. It's going in the freezer. The cheese is melting. All right. So Autumn's saying one time we made butter in elementary school, but shaking it. All right, and the ingredients in a jar. You can do that with your children. It takes forever. I personally don't have the patience for it. My attitude is, why would I do it like that if I can do it in my magic bullet? But then I'm lazy. But I do like the results. Now, did you understand that, basically the first time it took me about 30 seconds, 3 times, maybe 35 seconds, all right, to get it to go from cream to whipped cream. Once you get to whipped cream, the liquid isn't going around anymore because it's all solidified, because that's all good whipping cream. So I needed to add a little bit of liquid to it. I added some 2%, just so that it could still keep whipping and it wouldn't just stick to the sides. I hope that makes sense. And I want to tell you, I've been making my own butter all month. And I just can't imagine going back to buying it now. It's just, I just buy extra cream. And the other thing is, I now, literally just have a routine where I buy that much cream. I use it during the week for different things. But then, whatever's left, I turn into butter, or I make cream. Now, can I take the cream that I make and put it in the freezer and turn it into frozen cream? Not ice cream necessarily, but what I can do, and I've done it, is take that frozen cream out and put it in my blender with some raspberries and things, and I've got myself basically raspberry ice cream. It's a very, or put some frozen bananas in with it. It's just like it makes a really nice dessert with very few calories. And again, what I'm trying to do is to make sure you understand that the reason I am doing this is I'm trying to find a lifestyle where I can eat really nice foods, nice to me, but not spike my blood sugar. Is saying you're not lazy for doing all those gizmos. I am a bit lazy and don't have much discipline. You make me want to do it. Well, look me in the eyes here. If Sal can do it, anybody can do it, honey. Right? And let me ask you, for those of you who've got children, how many of your children would probably think they had died and gone to heaven? Not literally, obviously, but they didn't mean that. How much fun would it be for children to make their own butter, and to be able to go to school and say, I make the butter in the house now. The same thing as I encourage you all to teach your children how to bake bread. You don't have to do it. Let your children do it. Teach them how to make it. Of course, it means you need to learn first, but then pass on the skill. If they can, as I said, there were people in Ukraine who lived for 2 weeks just making their own bread from literally grain that they pounded and made their version of flour. But it kept them alive for 3 weeks or more. So think about that. It's teaching them basic skills. It's really, really important. But how much fun is it to make butter? And what about, those of you who have a man in the house, it's not what you call rocket science. I reckon a man, sorry, Lionel. I reckon a man could do it. It's just remember when you go, but after you've got the whipping cream out, remember to add a little bit of salt because it helps break up the buttermilk. Okay, so that's the only thing. So we've got this left over. Here's the epic one. All right, Jody. So here we have portion control, no seconds, right? The other parts hasn't been cooked and it's going in the freezer. Portion control with lots of goodness in it, lots of protein. It's got chicken, it's got egg in the batter, it's got lots of vegetables, and it looks pretty. Yes, Isabel, to me, it's a very healthy looking pocket. All right. And what I realized was that if I make batter and don't use just all flour, if I mix the almond flour with it, I can have twice as much. I can have crepes twice as often. I wonder if that logic makes sense to anybody other. I'm pretty certain Jody knows what I'm talking about. But that's what I keep saying. What can I have, and how do I need to adjust it so I can have it more often? And when I realized that cream, without any additives, just plain cream, actually is healthy, and that whole milk is healthier for you than skim milk because they put additives with it to make it taste better, whereas whole milk is what it is. It's whole milk. I did try the experiment of making the butter with whole milk. It wasn't nearly as much fun as doing it with cream. I just want to give you that from my experience. If you are like me and it's like, hello, I'd like it now, please, not next year. Now, of course, the next thing that you're going to ask me is, when are we going to try cheese? Anybody interested? Because, and how many of you remember that I bought myself a portable gas grill, like a barbecue thing, a portable one for, if I had a power failure, that I could still be self-sufficient and have cook things. Well, do you think I could find it? No, wait a minute. And to be prepared, how many of you remember that I bought some little hanging baskets during the winter ready for spring? Little white ones, so pretty. And I went out last week, and I'll talk more about that on Sunday, but now I got the plants to put in the baskets. Do you think I could find the baskets? So you're going to hear all about that on Sunday. But the truth is, like anything in life, know what you want. I did not want, and that's the other thing. If you don't know what you want, know what you don't want. I did not want to go on a diet. All right. I did not want somebody telling me I can never have cheese, or I cannot have whatever, mac and cheese. If somebody had said to me, that's it, you can't have mac and cheese anymore, or you can't bake bread anymore. Of course I can. Of course I can. The difference is my loaf is this size now instead of this size. And a sandwich, these are basically the ends, yes. All right, so a sandwich would be made out of 2 slices of this. And by the way, it is whole grain, multigrain sourdough. All right, healthy. I know exactly what's in there because I put it in. And why? Because I wanted to be able to eat bread. And I've kept my blood sugar under control doing so. So we know it works. All right, people, you know what I'm going to do. How many of you know I'm not even going to put it on a plate? I'm going to actually, I lie. I am going to put it on a plate, but I'm not taking it out of the plate to eat it. Why? It'll be easier to chase it around in there. Does it look tasty? Yes. Is it a serious amount of anything bad for you? No. It's got way more good things in there than bad things. And that's how we do it. This is DearMamaSal saying, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm glad that some of you enjoyed the baking butter, and hope you try it. What's the worst that can happen? You can waste a bit of cream. That's why I do it at the end of the week. If it doesn't work, I haven't lost anything. It's cream that I would have, got rid of anyway. And now, I use it. I use it much more often. And When I say much more often, it's just like, hey, I've got butter, real butter, really tasty butter too. So have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you on Sunday where I'll talk more about my stressful week and how I overcame it. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, hope you enjoyed this and we'll see you next week. Bye bye for now. Thanks, Jody, for all your help. Bye, everybody.